Welcome back to Apex Sci-Fi. In the delicate biology of the known galaxy, pain is the ultimate authority. It is the universal stop sign. For 99% of sentient life, the sensation of intense pain is an immediate, overwhelming command from the nervous system to cease all activity. When a Sylvari engineer burns their hand, their entire body goes into a protective shock. When a Krell warrior is struck in combat, their brain forces them unconscious to prevent further trauma. Pain is not a suggestion. It is a biological override that paralyzes the will. The ZYXX Empire built their entire interrogation doctrine around this principle. They are masters of the nervous system, capable of inducing levels of agony that can shatter the mind of a crystalline philosopher in seconds without laying a finger on them. They believed that every living thing has a breaking point, and that point is reached when the pain becomes unbearable. Then they captured Captain Elena Rostova of the Terran Intelligence Division. The ZYXX did not know that humans evolved on a death world where pain was a constant companion. They did not know that human brains have developed a terrifying ability to compartmentalize suffering. To a human, pain is not a stop command. It is just data. It is information telling you that damage is occurring, but it does not require your permission to continue fighting. This is the story of the interrogation chamber on Xylos Prime, and the day the galaxy's greatest torturers realized they were trying to break a species that had learned how to turn off the screams of its own body. High Inquisitor Var entered the sterile white room. Captain Rostova was strapped into the neural chair. She was bruised from her capture, but her eyes were clear, scanning the room, calculating escape routes that didn't exist. Var smiled, his four mandibles clicking softly. You are a stubborn species, human. But your biology is flawed. You rely on nerves. And I own your nerves. Var activated the neurostimulator. It was a device designed to bypass physical injury and stimulate the pain receptors directly. He set it to level 3, a setting that would cause a standard galactic citizen to go into immediate cardiac arrest from shock. The machine hummed. Purple light pulsed against Rostova's temples. Rostova's head snapped back. Her jaw clenched so tightly that a tooth cracked. Sweat instantly beaded on her forehead. Her body was receiving the signal that she was being burned alive. But she did not scream. She did not pass out. Rostova took a ragged breath, forcing her diaphragm to work against the spasms. She focused her eyes on Var. She used a technique as old as humanity itself, dissociation. She took the pain, visualized it as a red box in the corner of her mind, and locked it away. She knew it was there. She could feel every second of it, but she refused to let it touch the part of her brain that controlled her will. Var looked at his vitals monitor. The human's heart rate had spiked to 180, but it was steady. Her adrenaline levels were off the charts. But her cortical activity, her conscious thought process, was completely stable. Impossible, Var whispered. The pain is absolute. Why is she not in shock? Why is her mind not shattering? Var cranked the machine to level 7. This was the level used for execution. It was designed to overload the brain's synapses until they fried. Rostova's body began to seize. Her muscles contracted violently against the restraints. Blood trickled from her nose. The agony was beyond anything a biological organism should be able to endure. It was a symphony of fire and broken glass screaming through every nerve ending. But still she looked at Var. Her eyes were bloodshot, but the intelligence behind them was untouched. She was looking at him not as a victim but as a problem to be solved. Var began to feel a cold tendril of fear. He had broken generals, warlords, and telepaths. They all begged. They all broke. This small, soft-skinned primate was absorbing an amount of torture that would kill a rampaging beast, and she was using the energy to stay awake. What are you? Var hissed, his voice trembling. Stop fighting it. Let go. Rostova took another shuddering breath. She tasted copper in her mouth. She forced her jaw to unclench. Is that the best you have got? She rasped, her voice rough with pain but steady. Because I have had hangovers worse than this. It was a lie, of course. It was the worst pain she had ever felt. But the lie was a weapon. It was proof that her mind was still in control. Var stared at her in horror. He saw the truth in her eyes. He wasn't torturing her. He was just annoying her. He realized that he was facing a creature whose will to resist was stronger than its own biological survival instinct. In a panic, Var pushed the machine to maximum. Level 10. The surge of energy was too much for the machine. It sparked, whined, and then overloaded, blowing out the power coupling in the room. The lights went out. The restraints released automatically. Var stood in the darkness, his night vision activating. He saw Rostova slumped in the chair. He thought he had finally killed her. Then, slowly, painfully, Elena Rostova stood up. Her nerves were fried. Her muscles were torn from the spasms. But the adrenaline protocol was still active. The neural lock held. She stumbled toward the terrified inquisitor in the dark. Var, a master of pain, backed away from the broken human female. He didn't see a prisoner anymore. He saw a monster that couldn't be stopped by the universal language of suffering. Rostova didn't escape that day. She collapsed before she reached the door and was recaptured. But the damage was done. High Inquisitor Var resigned the next day. He could no longer look at his machines without seeing the humans' calm, bloodshot eyes. The ZYXX Empire changed its protocols regarding humans. They are now classified as neural-resistant. The ZYXX learned that you cannot torture a human for information because they will simply take the pain, lock it in a mental box, and use the time to figure out how to kill you. In the great medical academies of the galaxy, they teach a new course on human physiology. The central lesson is a warning: do not rely on pain to control a human. Their bodies feel it, but their minds have learned to ignore the scream. They are the only species that treats agony as just another piece of tactical data. This has been Apex Sci-Fi. We feel everything, but we decide what matters. If you have ever pushed through pain to finish a job or win a game, hit that like button. You have the neural lock. Comment below, what is the highest physical pain threshold you have ever had to endure? Subscribe. And remember, the mind is the only thing that truly matters. Vital signs stable. Subject is still operational.